Here with the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization. Today is July 8, 2026, and we're out here at Dow Lake for a follow-up investigation in an area that has yielded some very compelling reports. Joining me today are fellow investigators Evans Bailey, Chris Ramsey, and Scott Starr. Scott has been in direct contact with our witness and has already conducted preliminary research in this exact location. We're here to do a thorough walkthrough of the area and see what we can turn up. Back on October 12, 2024, a witness reached out to our NOBRO Facebook page with some disturbing and fascinating encounters he and his father experienced here. They described witnessing a creature estimated between 7 to 9 feet tall, with blondish colored hair. According to the report, the creature was initially lying down, then crouched before standing up. The activity reported in this area has been consistent and intense. The witness described hearing high-pitched howling noises, louder and higher than a wolf, and even reported instances of having small rocks thrown at them. He also mentioned the unsettling feeling of being watched, accompanied by physical reactions like hair standing on end. Beyond the sightings, they've experienced strange phenomena, including hearing something take down a wild hog, along with photographic evidence of tracks, tree structures, and breaks. This is clearly an active location. Today, Scott is going to lead us through the terrain to share his specific findings and help us look for any signs that this creature, or others, are still in the area.
As I understand it, there used to be a ballroom out here, and the trestle and the little train tracks that you see would truck people from Haleyville, and I'm not sure how far out, over here, and there was a ballroom over there, and people would swim out here. I've seen old photographs that had people with the parasols and the dressing for the period, and they'd have community dances and stuff in there. One of the stories I got from the people that were showing me around out here that had the sightings, I asked them if there's any other strange reports around here. And the guy said the only other thing he'd heard before his experience was his dad used to come out here and fish. He would either fish right here or over there where the ballroom used to be. And he'd be out here 2, 3 o'clock in the morning by himself, and he swore he could hear people frolicking in the water. Like, who knows? I asked him if he ever heard any music like from the old ballroom, and like, no. Never said anything, but he often would hear people out here when there weren't any. So. And all this became, I guess, during World War II in the 40s, it shut down probably so many people off at war that it just became abandoned over time. And that ballroom hasn't been there since probably the mid-40s. All this was put together back in, I'm not sure what year, but this used to be sort of a boom town, and this lake and these lands around it were controlled by some oil company who has since pulled out, but they left this available for public use. And it says that on the gate back up there, and that's what the story is. That's where all the train track stuff comes in and what used to be over there with the ballroom. You see that? It's like, looks like a heel, an instep, and then the front of the foot. You don't see any toes or anything. And there is some, looks like maybe somebody stepped on that, like a partial shoe print on the very front of it that matches. Those ridges right there, you see these, it's like something though, I don't know if that's kind of too big. I mean, look at the size comparison to my foot. Even a muddy boot. It's like, let's say there's been rain, this ground is all moist. If you're a 600-pound creature stepping right there, it might just collapse. That's kind of what it looks like. And then somebody else came through here and stepped on it. There's a partial shoe track right there. There's part of the same shoe right there, but see, heel, instep, front. Oh, I don't know. Kind of indistinct, but there's something. What they told me was they were driving down in here one evening. It was dusk, and right here at this barbed wire fence, they saw a big blonde, looks like a Bigfoot, blonde, no, that's, I never heard that before. Comes over this fence with a single bound, lands about right here, takes one step, and then leaps right through these trees right here over the right through this small opening. But so it comes over the fence there with a single bound, lands on the edge of the road, takes one giant step and leaps from right here right through there. Interestingly enough, there's a home right there. I wonder if they have any stories.
Alright, so these are photographs from the eyewitness that brought us to this area, and Scott has talked to the witness, and Scott's seeing these photos. We're all seeing these photos for the first time except for me, so we're just kind of going through here and just giving little comments. So what do you think about this track, guys?
That's a nice footprint.
It looks similar to the one that we just saw over there, at least as far as the size and kind of general shape of it.
Yeah, if we just had some way to tell
the depthness.
I don't see much.
The depth. You can see the toes right there.
Yeah. You definitely see the toes.
I see them.
Wide and flat.
You can see the depth to it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's another spot. You can see their hand for reference. I think they're showing this general area right here in the leaves.
That's probably right here along the edge of where we're at.
I guess he's pointing to the toes, where he thinks the toes are of this.
Ooh, wow.
There's lots of these tree breaks in here. And what's curious about that to me is, like, look at all the trees around it that aren't broken. So that's not wind damage, because you'd see more of it. But there's so much of that in here, it becomes kind of hard to tell what's going on. But that's an example of, can't tell, but that's 10, 12 feet up off the ground, ain't it? And it's just snapped.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think he's, this area right here, maybe he's showing his foot.
Some kind of impression in the leaves there.
That could be just weathered. That could be.
There's, like I was saying, there's so many trees down in here, old, dead, rotten, that kind of all gets lost in the mix, except for those ones that are broke off 10 feet up like that.
Okay, there's his finger, but I guess he's maybe saying that these were maybe kind of placed.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I remember them showing me.
Yeah, that's an interesting structure.
That was right over there, because they walked me over there.
Break right there.
Yeah.
Showing that it's
interesting. You know, if it was a storm, you would think the break would be higher up.
Yeah.
Or the surrounding trees would also be damaged.
Right. Yeah.
I guess they're showing a big, maybe kind of a nesting area. It looks like you can crawl back up and under there.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Some more tree breaks.
Yeah.
There's so many. That's, you know, they're crossed up branches, maybe a structure.
Pushed over tree. Is that right? Or is that a big branch broken off?
It looked like it was pushed over.
Yeah.
And especially back up the road towards that little swampy area, there's just a whole bunch of those. It's the same thing though, because there'd be 3 or 4 dead trees and one of them's knocked over and the other ones aren't. So, not sure how that works.
X formations on the ground.
There's a bunch of those.
Ooh, buck rub. Nice buck
A
rub.
lot of them.
Now that's an interesting break.
Yeah. When I was here personally the last time, I've been here a couple of times.
How
There's
tall?
a bunch of those.
How tall is that, you think, right there off of the
It's
ground?
probably 7 or 8 feet.
Bow.
It's twisted. See how it's tucked between those 2 trees? It goes around that one, behind that one.
Yeah, I mean, simple stuff like that. The wind didn't do that.
No, wind can't do that. That's interesting. Something's taken a stick and laid it
Straight across.
horizontally.
Fish.
Yeah, dead carp.
That's a gar.
Or gar, I'm sorry, yes.
I think that's a gar.
Yeah.
See how they're evenly cut? Like, it's kind of consistent.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to show.
That could have been a fisherman, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Trying to decide if
Well,
he's
yeah,
gonna
that's going to be...
either cut it up for bait or salvage, try to eat it.
Yeah.
Shotgun shells. There's some raccoon tracks right there. Pretty cool. Coon tracks. Right in the water there. Yeah, it's gotta be a shoe because I don't see no toe marks.
They've been back up there maybe 2 miles, but it goes, you can go all the way to Hartshorn. If you got on an ATV and just followed this, you could end up 14 miles away in
Wow.
Hartshorn.
So it follows the river pretty much, right, Scott?
Yeah. I guess this is a tribute to the river. It's Brushy Creek. I've actually been here and seen people come down through here in bass boats fishing. And you can tell there's been people fishing in here. You know, with their bait containers and empty beverage cans and stuff. It looks like they sit right on this edge and fish this water right here.
Definitely squatchy over here, Scott. Head.
So my witnesses described one thing where they would pull in here and they'd spin around and they would park right here, right? And they have pickups, so the tailgate would be open right about here. And they described they were standing here loading up their weapons. It was like a 30-06 and he dropped one of the shells and they couldn't find it. He said, days later they came out here, we parked here again, and we're kind of getting ready to go exploring, and all of a sudden that bullet came flying at him from right over there, zing, you know, hits him and drops to the ground. They showed me the bullet. Also, they had a beer bottle. It was like a Heineken bottle. Same thing had happened. They're gathered here next to their vehicle. All of a sudden this beer bottle comes flying at them from right over here. And they showed me the beer bottle. So, and then our second set of witnesses described same type of stuff. They'd hear the howls, something trying to scare them away. And they might have small rocks or things thrown at them when they were parked here. So, evidently there's activity. So last time that I was here, all this refuse that somebody dumped out here was not here. And their main story about how all this got started It was 4th of July a couple of years ago. There was a dead tree laying right over there in this brush, which is kind of covered now. And they had stuffed a great big piece of fireworks, like one of those mortars inside of it, inside of that tree, and then set it off. So it blew up loud, sparks everywhere, burning pieces of tree raining down. Right after they did that, something came up from over there and it gave them the vicious, angry Bigfoot type of howls and scared them right the heck out of here. They'd never even occurred to them about something like that before that happened. Then they were on the alert, and they eventually had the Class A sighting where the thing jumped across the road just a short distance from here, and they started to have things thrown at them from around here. And you know, they come out here and shoot guns. You look at all this stuff, I mean, look at this. That's what people do out here. Full of bullet holes. And you would think that would scare away Mr. Bigfoot or Mrs. But evidently they kind of enjoy coming out here and messing with people who are, might be drinking or partying or shooting guns, and they get scared out of here.
So there's some tree breaks where Scott, Ryan, and Evans is at, and I just found this on the trail. Maybe some toe prints coming in, mid-tarsal break, heel. Y'all make your decision on that. So Evan's seen that tree that they're at, where it's angled from the bottom of their feet right there, going up right there, has been placed there, and it's been jammed down in the ground right there. Tree break right here. So as Ryan and the guys are heading out, going straight out to the vehicles, I'm going to show you something on what I found here. Bunch of trees laying over each other. Right in there.
So we're wrapping up our morning activities because it's approaching 100 degrees now. So we're getting ready to head back to town. But so this morning we were on James Collins Wildlife Management Area near Brushy Creek on the south end of the WMA. And we met a young man there who is of Cheyenne Arapaho descent, and he is from the local area here around Haleyville, Hartshorn, and told us that that his grandfather had stories of these creatures and other things, and then he said that he knew of some spots where he had heard about other sightings and activity, and one of those was behind the Haleyville football stadium here. So we're here at the state football stadium. You can see to my left, your right, and then the area behind it, there's some woods and pasture behind the stadium. He said there'd been activity there before. And then a couple other areas that he gave us to check out down in this area where he heard stories from is Jack Fork Creek area, and then also the Hickory Point area on Lake Eufaula, which is 20 or so miles north of here. But anyway, so we've got some good leads from Natavius, and we appreciate talking with him and the help that he gave us. And so we'll check these leads out later.